All right, guys, Melissa, I'm feeling like myself again. I do not think I have an infection, which is great. Okay, so I took the time to take some extra time to catch up on some of my studying, some of the stuff I need to do. Um, and I also did listen to a video by Jordan Peterson about the husband who cheats. And this is what you want to look for, ladies. So my husband left me and he was not happy. I mean, a few times he's like, I don't know if I want to stay married. And he had opportunity to leave and he left and he blamed it on me. So his defensiveness and his not taking personal accountability is one way that it's more likely he is having an affair, or had an affair, because Kevin Leandro had said before we were even divorced that he can definitely find someone else. So, when we were together, he was like, there was a time that he didn't want me to see his phone. Privacy is different than secrecy, right? There was years of pornography, years of it, and then some of the last times we were out together, after we would we would spend time together at the hotel. One day we were at a bank and he's checking out another girl, right? He's checking out another woman. And he did this a few times and I'm like, "What are you doing?" So, when you have this happening, even if he didn't physically cheat on me, you can see that number one, the communication went down. Number two, there wasn't emotional intimacy because he had distanced himself. And when he left, he had really just narrated a whole different story. And so I decided today it is a good time to process. I had processed a boyfriend after the abortion, and I think for me it was really important where I had no real voice with the abortion. I had no real voice afterwards. My parents were just trying to lock me up. Honestly, I mean, I couldn't have a phone. I couldn't go, hang out with friends. I couldn't do a lot. And even him breaking into the home, my mom made it about herself. So I think it was really important for me to have that boyfriend with my autonomy. And I broke up with him when I was ready to break up with him. And I think that's where I really stood my ground. And then I had, dated my husband. And again, he left for no reason. He's like, I just want my freedom. He left. We never really got through that, before we got married. And then when I had left him, I was done. I mean, there was a big disconnect. He was being rotten to me, and I totally left him. I just totally left. I was done. And then he is the one who chased me and wanted to work it out, and I gave him another chance. There was no way. I mean, I was on my way to file for divorce. So we had talked about things. We had talked about how he wanted a commitment for good. And then up until the end of before he left, he was, even before I went to New Hampshire, he was just like accusing me of an affair. And I had a friend say, the one who accuses is the one who's doing it, because there was no affair. And then the night before I left, he had time to go out with me and he wanted to go out with his buddy to Manchester rather than even making time to see his family before I came over here. So he had a lot of, what do you call it? Unresolved conflict. He had a lot of unresolved issues. He had childhood trauma. These are all signs of pointing toward an affair. So even if he, had waited until after we were technically divorced, which Kevin Leandro was calling me his ex when I wasn't even divorced yet. It just happened December 23rd. He was already on the path to an affair. And there was a lot of secrecy. There was a lot of not texting me when he was at work, distancing me, keeping me away from his work, where he used to tell me things that happened. So when you see these signs, ladies, you can be happy you had a divorce. So that is how I have chosen to process my divorce after not processing it until later. So it's been a few weeks, since the divorce. It's been since what, the 23rd or something. So I have chosen to process this to help me move forward better. So he was unfaithful. He was not, there was no integrity. He was not committed. He had chosen to choose this for himself with no personal responsibility. yet trying to blame it on his wife. And that is one of the biggest clues to an affair. So, this has been a blessing in disguise for me, although it was painful at some points. But yet, I was so busy out here in Colorado that, I was trying to survive out here. So, this is how I choose to process it, ladies. And God allows everything for a reason. Is there a chance of rebuilding with Him after this? No, there's not. The trust has been broken so much. There's forgiveness. There was a song I was listening to. I wish you the best. You have the best of my love from the Eagles. So I hope the best for him in life, and there's no chance of rebuilding after his constant betrayal, um, not just to me, but to his sons. So I hope the best for him. And that is how I choose to deal with this, ladies. Okay, thanks for joining me.